Welcome back to Ta-da 3D printing. Okay, we are on to chapter 11, which is the final chapter of the MMU3 assembly for the MK3S Plus. And you can see I have this sprawled out in the best setup I can come up with for now. I'm trying to keep the tubes as straight as possible per the instructions. We'll see if there's another solution for that. I recorded this immediately after the last chapter, and this is at about 11 o'clock at night. There are way too many bugs in my space that keep coming every time I open the door to let my puppy outside. I have very bright lights, so they're just attracted to that. But I'm just too stubborn at this point to stop. I feel like I'm right there. I need to just finish this and make sure everything prints, and then maybe I can go to bed. So I'm sorry in advance for the bugs flying everywhere. Step 1, filament preparation. We can now move on to loading the filaments in and printing the test object. But first, please prepare at least 5 different PLA filaments and cut off the ends to form a round, sharp edge. A round, sharp tip on each, as seen in the picture. I have never done a round, sharp tip. I always do a very sharp, one-sided tip. The filaments must have a sharp tip in order to load properly in the MMU as well as into the printer. If the tip is deformed, bent, or large in diameter, it won't load properly. Inspect the last 15 inches of each filament. Make sure there are no dents in it. So it needs to be fresh, not something that's been unloaded. Use only high quality filament with guaranteed low diameter deviation. Make sure the filament is dried up. Moisture-sensitive filaments can be problematic during the MMU operation. So it shows a suggested filament layout. I don't know that it necessarily matters what color. It's showing it a little bit more straight, but I just don't have any more space. And if I turn this printer a little bit more, which I can turn the printer more, but then how am I going to see the screen at all? And especially on that side, the SD card's going to be facing over there. I could flip it the other way. Maybe that would be easier. Then I can't get to anything on this buffer if any issues are there. This is as good as it's going to get for now. Lay down the 5 filaments onto the spool holders. Make sure the spools do not interfere with one another. Adjust each spool holder so that the spools fit the rollers correctly. Verify the spool is able to rotate freely and nothing interferes. Okay, I'll set this one here. So I've got red. I'm going to just go with how the picture is laid out for the most part for now. So I've got red and then pink and then green. Not much green left on that one, but green, blue, and yellow, and yellow. Take the cassette for filament 1 out of the buffer. Okay, so we're going to, let's start with number 1. So we are going to, of course, push this through. Oh, I need to take out cassette 1. Okay, so I've got cassette 1 out. Now I get to, yeah, you can see that, okay. I get to push this through, and then once it comes out this other end, I need to pull it through and make sure that it goes into the other side. Because it's loose right here. And yeah. And then I would imagine, since there's no motor anywhere here, the only motor has to be on the actual unit on the printer, I'm probably going to need to do this until it completely goes through. Okay, now on the printer, okay, so I have it I probably went too far because I can see it on the top. I can see it right here, which I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not, but I'm sure I can scoot it back. But now I have to do something on the printer. I need to do like a load. On the printer, go to the menu. Okay, this is step 4. On the printer, go to the menu, preload to MMU. I want to load filament 1. So up here, it's shifting around, and definitely I was not supposed to push it through as much as I did. Okay. So it's engaged all the way to the left. Keep pushing the corresponding filament end into the PTFE tube from the buffer in the MMU until you feel the filament being pulled. Okay, so I'm going to push it until I feel it being pulled in. And sure enough, it does look like something's moving, okay. I don't feel like it. Let me do filament 1 again. Okay, I don't know if I did enough, but let's do the next ones. Okay, I guess I need to put the cassette back in before I can continue on. I know that I previously complained about loading filament on the XL. This is by far more tedious because not only are you loading it through this tube, then you've got to pull it through the cassette, pull it through the other side, and then continue to load it and push the spool and pull. It takes quite a bit of time to get even just one roll done, and you're doing 5 at once. Then you've got to, of course, wait for the machine to recognize and pull it in at the same time. I thought that I wanted a motor on the XL, just where you originally loaded the filament, but on this, with all of these different filaments, of course it would be way more expensive to do this, but it would be very handy. Yellow is stuck. Number 5 didn't want to work out, and it's stuck. And you can actually see right there, I don't know what I did, but something didn't quite work out there. So I'm going to pull that out and make sure that my end looks decent and try that again. Repeat the same process until you've loaded all 5. And of course we put the cassette back in the buffer after each step. Alright, there's a pro tip that we can also load a filament differently. Step 7, loading test. Go to the menu settings, loading test. Select the filament type to preheat, PLA, then do load all. Menu settings, loading test. Menu settings, load test, for PLA. I did do PLA for everything. And according to the instructions, it's going to heat up and then go through and load and then unload all 5 filaments to make sure they all work correctly. And it looks like it's pulling quite a bit in. Let's see if I can zoom out a little bit on this whole thing. Okay, now I see the pink one moving, so we're on testing filament 2. I don't see anything coming out of the nozzle, so I guess that's not really the most important part. It's just, can it go through the other things? And it does look like you see the color disappear from the tube. It was pink and now it's back to clear. So we'll see if green works. Testing filament 3. Yeah, you can see the green roll just moved just a little bit. Also, I'm noticing that as it's going through, I'm starting to see filament here, the red and the pink. And that must be when it unloads, I'm assuming. Because yeah, now it's coming back out of the tube. And it looks like, yes, now we have green here. And then these last two, the blue and the yellow, I did speed up a little bit once I kind of figured out what the process was. I figured I might as well kind of zip through that a little bit. So it's not that those are magically going faster or anything. Okay, they look like they're all loaded. We see all the colors over here, and it's gone back to the regular screen. So now we need to print something. So I started the print for the sheep last night and then went to bed. I did want to stay up and watch it, check on it, but it was very late and I was just hopeful that it would work overnight. And it looks like it did not work on one of the changes. I'm not sure which, tool change we're on, but I am curious how it's going to do since I haven't, I'm curious how it's going to do because it's been sitting. It was about a 3-hour long print, and I started it probably about 9 hours ago. So I need to see if this is still salvageable or if I just need to start over. And this is where we're at. So it looks like the pink and the red have both worked. Or it looks like the pink and the red have both gone through at least one change. So I'm not sure which color it is. And I'm also not really sure what to do exactly when it does have this error. So it says done, so it looks like it was printing red and pink. I'm not really sure. Okay, so now it's gonna reheat, and I guess I'll just keep an eye on it and see, for one thing, which color it's trying to jump to and see what I can do to help it out. Okay, so it looks like the pink tube is the one that's just shifting a little bit, and I do see pink in here now. And you can see that it disappeared from over here. So it looks like it's continuing to go. Let's see. We'll see how it prints. It says it still has 2 hours left, so I'm going to switch back to time lapse and hope that that was the only thing that I had to help with. Okay, so this print finished. I did not have to interfere any more times. I think overall the sheep did pretty good. The kind of fuzzy texture of it along the back is cool. The supports seem like they did good, but I have a layer shift on the face. And it looks like even in the purge tower that there is a layer shift. So I must have just had something funny on that layer. It did correct itself and go back. Overall, I think it did pretty good. I want to try this out more. It is, of course, a lot of filament on this purge tower, And I'm going to be honest, I never thought that I would be using a MMU to create a multicolor print. I thought that my XL would be here by now, and that's what I would be using. So far, I'm finding the MMU3 to be a little bit clunky, and I do not like the overall space that it takes up. But I've only printed one thing, so let me know what you think would be the best next prints, and if you have any suggestions on how to make the footprint smaller. Thanks for watching!